Hey everybody, Scraft here, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our Saxlingham Let's Play series. It has been, again, for me, a fair few days since I've been on FS25. I've been, my god, where am I in 2 seconds? Let me just turn the game volume down. I don't know if it's like that for you, but currently it is pretty extreme. I've got it on 50 on my headset, but yeah, it's a bit loud. I think it's general settings. Volume. See, I've only got it on 50. That is a strange one. Let's put it down to 40. Hopefully everyone can still hear it. I can always lift it up in the editing software. But anyway, what I was saying is, yeah, it's been a few days, fair few days again, since I've been on FS25. Last week was a strange one. I didn't really get as much done as I would have probably liked to have done. There we go. I want to lift it up a bit more. Don't mind unfolding it. I want to lift it up. Yeah, so I didn't have as much time doing anything really last week. I was very busy with real life, and yeah, basically Beanie was going through a bit of a stressful time. She was on the verge of potentially getting made redundant at work, and she doesn't mind me sharing this because she actually put it out in my Discord. So she had a few meetings to determine. It's a bit of an awful situation really for anyone, but it's a fight for your job. I'm turning. What you doing? Yeah, it's a fight for your job. There was like 4 people up for redundancy and only 2 jobs. So yeah, unfortunately, she was going through that, quite stressful. So I was helping her, supporting her, and she had a couple of meetings. But eventually, she actually kept a job and got a tiny bit of a pay rise. She's very, very happy in the end, and stressful time as it was, she did really well and got it. So it was a bit of a strange week for many reasons, and I had a few appointments that I needed to go to. So yeah, it was just a strange one, a very strange one. I didn't really get on FS as much because of it. So yeah, I'm glad to be back on. That's the point I'm making. And especially on Saxlingham, because really enjoying this series. Let's start on the headland. Let's do 7 because of the fact this hangs over. I think it's probably better to do that, and we'll generate there. Looks pretty good to me. Now, there has been an update to Courseplay, and I've found that since the update, everything seems to be working much better. Just want to unfold this and check that it actually is set to the right width. It should be. Let's just set it going from there and see what happens. But yeah, it's working much better. Now, the issue I was having, which I know a few people also had, but then other people didn't have, was the fact that when it goes from either the headland to the up and downs, it was just kind of not been able to connect to that next waypoint in the course that's generated. But so far, I've tried it a couple of times. I've not had that issue since this update dropped on GitHub, of course. So I'm hoping that that's not an issue that we need to worry about anymore. I think it was just a really strange one that was only happening for some people. Yeah, that was only happening for some, and not for all that use Courseplay. But it's nice to get Courseplay back up and running because I love it for things like this. Especially when you're doing like mowing with an overhanging mower like that, it makes a big difference. So we'll leave that going. You're probably wondering, what are we actually doing in this episode? We're going to be doing some baling, straw baling. We've got plenty of that to do from the last harvest. Well, the last episode we did plenty of harvesting, messing about with the fluctuation mod, and I'm going to get some grass done because I need to make sure I've got a good amount of feed going into like the winter months. I've got enough, I'd say now, but it's nice to bulk up on it. So we're going to get him mowing this and the other field, and then we're going to probably lease out a windrow and get that done. But I'll hold off doing the grass baling because we can tackle that probably in the next episode. But as long as we get the mowing done, then we should be good. So before we get into the baling for the straw, I just want to show you this. I have put this manure heap in. It holds 176,000 litres. You can see that it's connected to all 3 of these indoor barns, which is perfect. Absolutely spot on. And yeah, it's actually really nice. I love the texture. I do. I like the concrete kind of texture to it. So it's quite an impressive one. I do believe this is on Mod Hub as well. So if you want to search for just go on there and look for the manure heaps. You'll see these options. But yeah, pretty spot on. I want to talk about the animals again, because I think in the last episode when I watched it back, I wasn't really explaining it the way I wanted to explain. And the whole idea of the series is to rear and condition our beef stock. So buying them in young at like 0 months, 1, 2, no more than 3 months old, and then getting them to a good age and selling them, fattening them up basically. Now, I want a rotation. I want a steady flow of cash from it. I know I'm not going to get it every month, but I want it every 6 months. So I've come up with a graph, and I'm going to put it on screen now, and it's going to give you an idea of what we're doing. And I've decided the cows that we first bought when we started this series, which was August year 1, I bought an influx of calves to beef up. They're going to be sold in December. Now, there's a reason for this, all this madness, and you probably see this graph in front of you thinking, what the hell is this? I know, it's crazy. But we're starting here where it says start. On the right-hand side, you can see it says December year 2. Now, that's this December, because we're in year 2 right now. We're in July. So when we get to December, we're going to sell Group 1, which is what it means, G1, and we're going to buy Group 4. So every June and December, we buy and sell. And that means that every 6 months, we get money, but we also get another lot or batch of calves to condition up to sell. That's the way I want to do it, because I love this idea of just doing beef stock. And with the realistic livestock mod by Arrow, it gives you incentive to do it, because there's a whole new range of dynamics to the animals, but also the value of the actual animals as well, or the cows, when you fatten them up, really does pay off. So it's well worth doing. So you can see now, this is just giving you an idea. It's like a bit of a 5-year rotation, and it just shows you what I'm going to be doing. So in December, we're going to sell Group 1, which are out in the farm pasture to the right, so the one that's closest to, and then Group 4 we're going to buy, and I'm going to try and buy every time. The aim is to buy 12. Now, when we get the truck that I was on about in the last episode, we can obviously get the bigger trailer to hold animals. We can do it in one trip, and currently I'm doing it in 2 trips, which is not a pain. You know, it's not like a game breaker or anything. It's more efficient to do it in one. But the aim is to sell 12 and buy 12. Now, there's a few that I've got there's only 6. There's some that I think I bought first time around. I think I bought maybe 18. In fact, I did buy 18 because I bought 20, and they're 2 of the ones that we just got for breeding for some random reason, which I will get rid of at some point, even though they've got really good genetics. But we really want to focus on that kind of cattle rearing and beef rotation plan that I've got going here. So yeah, December, we're going to buy 12. We're going to sell our first group. And then in June, so 6 months later, we're going to sell Group 2, which is only 6. I remember Group 2 was only 6. And then we're going to buy another 12, which will be Group 5, and so on. So then December year 3, we're going to be selling Group 3, which is the ones that I mentioned in the last episode that I bought. So it was 12 really good young beef calves, and we're going to sell in year 3 of December, and we'll buy Group 6. Now, the good thing about this is when we buy them, so say the group we're going to buy in December, Group 4, we're going to buy them. Let's say they're 2 months old on average. They're never going to be more than 3 months. I've made sure of that. 3 months is the maximum I'll go to. Let's say they're 0 months, just because, that's the worst case scenario of age they're going to potentially be. After we get to the next sell point date, which is 6 months' time, they're going to be 6 months old. And then the next one after it, they'll be 12 months old. And then the one when they're due to sell, which would be Group 4, if you can see on this graph right now, this diagram. Sorry, not graph. Yeah, this diagram. You can see that Group 4 we're going to sell in June year 4. So that's 6, 12, 18 months. And I think that's a perfect age to sell our calves. Now, some are going to be potentially 20 months old, 21 months old, depending if we buy them at 3 months, 0, 1, or 2. So the worst case scenario is they're going to be 18 months old, which is honestly, it's a perfect time to sell. And if we've done everything right, we should be getting some really good cash. And if they've got great genetics, we should also get a bit of a bonus there. The potential is we could make £5,000 per cow. And if you're selling 12, it's a good bit of money every year. We can make over 100,000 every 12 months, I'd say, easily from selling these cows. So it's well worth it, and that's the rotation I've got going. I wanted to put it in a bit of a diagram for you, just because I thought it'd be nice to visualize it, and you can see my plan and my idea. And it's better to show you than explain sometimes, because it can be quite complicated at times to do a cattle rotation. And it's nice that I've got 3 sheds. So in the winter, you've got 1 group, 2 group, and the group that are going to get sold. And then when you sell that one, you've always got a space because you're going to buy another 12. So you can go take the 12 you're selling, get them gone, and buy 12 more calves and bring them back and put them in the shed if it's the winter months. If it's the summer months, this pasture here, this larger one's always going to hold 2 groups, and the one by the farm, that's always going to like hold the ones that are going to get sold. So the closest 2. That's the way I'm going to do it, and I think it works really well. So let's stop faffing about and let's get some baling done. Now, it's a pretty straightforward episode. Nothing too crazy. I just want to get the straw done. You can see I've left the harvester out. It needs a clean still. It probably needs a bit of maintenance and fuel topping up on it, but we're not going to worry too much about that right now. We are just going to focus on getting the baling done. That field, well, these 2 fields and partially some of the 3rd field, there's not much straw because of the fluctuation mod, but we did luckily get a much better yield on that kind of 1.5 on the last field, but also half of the other large field that we started with off. Well, it was the 3rd field that we started harvesting. So we have got a decent yield. Like I'm quite happy with it. If I go to my stock check, and you can see oats here, 120. This one here, we got 158,000 litres, and we should be selling that in January at the end of December, which is around the time we're going to be selling our first load of calves, or cows. There'll be cows then. 183,000. I think that's a great return. We can pay off first our loan, and then we're going to take another loan out and buy another field. But I do need some equipment. I do need either a round baler and wrapper combination, or what I do need is just like maybe a wrapper and we do square bales. The only problem with doing square bales with this is it does require this big 6R. Our small tractor just won't do it, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I was getting some Discord pings. I've had a lot of spam Discord like things going on recently where people just have to get removed from the Discord. It's happening in quite a few. But because of that, I had to sort that out, and now I can't remember what I was actually on about. But yeah, I was talking about the equipment that we potentially do need. Now, I could just get away with getting like, a wrapper and then using this square baler, but then I'd need to make sure I always use this kind of tractor. And if we do get that, medium tractor eventually, maybe like a JCB would be great, fast track on the roads, but because I want a truck, I don't think I'm going to prioritise that anymore. I'm going to prioritise, obviously, paying off my loan and then taking another loan out for a field, because, we expand on our arable side, which is always going to be good money. And then we need a truck. So I think I might just buy a small round baler that hopefully the 145 horsepower of the other John Deere can pull. And if we can get one that's got a wrapper combined and still fall into that horsepower, that would be perfect. But then we also need a windrow, because I'm leasing out a windrow, and I think what I'll do in this episode is I might take the windrow out on finance. And pay a deposit and then try pay it off in 6 months' time, because we do need it, and it saves just constantly, leasing out this stuff. And then I might do the same for the baler. It just depends if we can find one. If we can't, we're going to leave the grass in the field anyway, and we'll have to just use the square baler this time round, and then just get a wrapper of some sorts. But ideally, I'd like to have a wrapper baler combination. Get both that and a windrow on finance, and know, right, at least I know now I need to pay, so much in deposits. We've got 47,000. We're not too far away technically from our next payday, which is going to be around December time, and it should be a decent payday. Yes, most of that money's going to go to paying off the loan, but then we've got the money coming in from the cattle, and yeah, we'll have to just see. But it's 2 items that I definitely need, because the feed that comes from the pastures isn't going to cover us. It's just definitely not going to, make do. We should have 36 cows. At the minimum, we'll have 36 cows to feed every winter, and they're going to consume quite a bit of food. So we need to make some silage just to top them up. I think that's got to be the aim. So yeah, we'll have a look at it. We'll keep an eye on the worker. I know they're going to be finishing that field soon, and then we need to set them off in the next field. It would be nice if I can... There we go. So yeah, they're still on the Headland Pass right now, which I'm actually surprised about. Does that mean that there's an issue? There might be an issue. Let's just quickly go do a check-in. I mean, everything looks alright so far. We're mowing away. I mean, he's cutting on them headlands, though, I will say that. Like, we could easily do an extra headland there, but yeah, it's not too bad, is it? It'll do the job. I mean, ideally, you'd have another tractor and you can set the windrow going. And even if we just get all the windrowing done in this episode up to that point, we can always do the baling in the next one. It's not an issue. I just need to find the baler that I want. I mean, it could be something we just have a quick look at. Let's just make sure I've got a bit of time to do this. But yeah, I just want a small round baler that's got the combination on. We'll go back to that in a second. May as well finish this pass. I didn't even know I had another headland pass here. With it being such a small amount of straw, I can't see when it's even thinner through the through the stubble that's been left after harvest. But what have we done so far? We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, probably like 5, coming up to our 6th bale now. I mean, it's not too bad, is it, for our smallest? And we're selling, again, most of this. We'll keep some because we've now got some sheds that will need some bedding in. But I have topped them up max, like when I was testing them sheds out, because obviously it's a custom shed that I've made for the series. I wanted to test them out, so I filled them all up with feed and with straw. So we've pretty much got enough bedding, but I will keep some bales this time round. Alright, so let's have a quick look now in the store. Round bales. We're going to sort by price, ascending, and we do not want to group with mods. So there's this one, but it's got no wrapper. There's also that, which is not bad at all. I don't see any there as a combination. There's this one, so you're talking 100,000 at that point though, aren't you? So it might just be easier, because 100,000 is a lot of money to get something like this class Roland and then just buy a wrapper and also drive into your shed. Yeah, I think that's the best route. It's going to have to be. If we want to do it that way, we may as well just buy a small round baler that the little the little John Deere can pull. You know, the 145 on the John Deere wouldn't have any issues with, and then also just get a wrapper. It's an extra job. It's nice to do them together, but it could be worse. It's not a bad thing, especially if you're doing just 2 small grass fields. If we were doing massive grass setups, then yeah, I'd understand it'd be a bit of a different thing, but we don't have to worry about that too much, do we, with them fields? But yeah, we'll have a look at that in a second, and I will keep an eye on the worker. Yeah, I just want to at least make sure he's done the mowing, and then we should technically get a row. So what I'll do is I'll just carry on now, do a bit of a jump cut, get as much of this straw baled off as possible, and jump in when he's finished and starting onto the second one, because then at least I've got him going, and we can have a quick look at our windrow and pick that and sort that out. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it's definitely not liking the overhanging mower. It's leaving bits. I've tried to figure out if there's something I can do. It's already set. If you have a look at let's just open up the course plate. You can see that the offset is set where it should be, but I'm not sure if there's anything I can do. It's when it's turning around, you can see that it's not getting fully over. Which makes sense, because when it's here, to be honest, when it comes up there, it's mowing that side, but then when it goes up there, it should mow back over where it was, which is a very strange thing. The only thing I can think of doing is maybe putting it over, but I don't know if that's even going to work as well. So, I don't know. I think it might be one of them ones where this is probably a job best done by ourselves. I had to clean up a few strips in this field as well. So we could just let it go, and then what it misses we'll have to tidy up. But I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be setting that up differently. I'll be honest. It's a strange one. You can see he swings round, gets lined up, and then because the lines keep moving, there's always a gap eventually. So strange one. But anyway, let's we may as well buy this windrow because we're going to need it, and then we can jump up. Let's jump up to the shop and do it there, and then we can visit that. There we go. Happy days. Right, so let's figure out what we're going to do with the windrow. We might also look at the baler as well, potentially. Depends. We're going to need it, and we're going to need the wrapper, aren't we? So if it means paying a bit of a deposit and then having more each month coming out, I think we should be all right. We can get by. Right, so first off, we need a decent windrow. It has to be done. I'm hoping these are all sorted by price. Right, so, I mean, straight away, 8.4 metres for that, I think is perfect. We don't need to go really any bigger than that is not needed for this size field. The class one's not bad, but with that one being cheaper, makes sense. But then again, it is a class dealership, so it kind of feels like we should be going with at least this. I think we can get it up to 8 metres. So yeah, let's get this. Hire purchase. We will pay 30%. I think that's not bad at all. And let's have a look at the best option here. We don't want to go too long in length. I mean, we'll look at the options in a second, but I don't want to go far with this. I think 1 year would be the best option and without any final fee. So I think we go option 1. Get it paid off within 12 months, and we pay $1,274 per month. So I'm happy with that. That was a straightforward purchase. And yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it, to get class. The wrapper is going to be an interesting one because I kind of don't want to go with this style. Ideally, I'd go with something along this line or this one. But I think for now, we'll worry about wrapping the bales at a later date. Let's get ourselves a baler. It has to be this one. It has to be. And 90 horsepower, not an issue at all. Class dealership, class baler, kind of makes sense. I'm not really bothered about the size of the tyres. All we're doing there is paying £2,500 for something that we're not going to see, are we? We don't really need to know if it's a roto feed or a roto cut. Basically, one cuts and one of them, like this one, basically will cut and feed. So it's like a chopper, whereas this one will just kind of feed it in and then make bale from the grass you've cut, which I'm not too fussed about. So I think we'll keep it as cheap as possible. And again, we'll pay a decent deposit now. I'm going to bring it down to 2. I'm going to put 2 years on this one. We'll pay 30% again. And with this one, we will pay a final fee of $3,500. So we'll go with option 2. Because $1,300, I think, is a better fee each month. And there we go. Happy days. So yeah, we'll look back at the wrapper. We don't need to worry too much about that just yet. We've got to finish off the baling and the rowing. And, well, with the mower kind of working the way it is, as you can see, we're going to have a lot of bits to go up and down and finish off. So it's probably not going to be like that we even get the rowing done in this episode. I think we go and focus on just finishing off this baling because the straw is actually going to be some decent income. And I'm going to reduce the amount that I put it up to because I did make some changes. You probably remember me talking about it in a previous episode that I did change the price of straw, making it better than what it was, but not as good as silage and bringing the silage price down. The only problem with that is we end up getting so much for it that it's almost matching what we get for the crop, which is crazy. So I think what I might do is just bring it down from that max price, which is way too high, to probably about maybe 100 or 75 or something like that. I still think that's a really good price per 1,000 litre of straw. So yeah, it has to be done. If not, we're just getting way too much money for straw. Whereas, it ends up being, especially if you get a bad harvest, where straw kind of, it's like becomes one of the main sources of income, which again, you get good money for it, but you should be getting more for your arable work, and we still do. It's just, I think it's a bit too close. So I'll reduce that to make it a little bit more realistic. And we'll bring it down to probably 75, 100, something like that.
Have I really been so crazy to think your love was mine? Serenading to sinking moons. Oh, I've been so blind as our love was slowly turning blue. My blood grew red. No, I can't believe that thing is true. Believe that thing you said. No, I don't care where I'm going to. This town's too small. Baby, you were my burning tower. Now I'm too high to fall. 7 seasons have come and gone. Song unsung, that's how you made me feel. So beware of this glowing dream. Baby, don't look back to see your life drifting down the stream. See the star turn black. Darling, days will come when you're all new. Yes, this love is your song unsung, but it's still true. No, I don't care where I'm going to. This town's too small.
Welcome back, everybody. This did not go to plan. You can see, weirdly, if I just look at it like maybe there, it looks like none of the grass is gone, but there is. It's just a load of strips in between that need finishing off. I don't know why. It's almost like it skips a row, but it doesn't. I've checked the way I set it up. It doesn't skip a row, but I'm going to have to do this. I did think I was going to have to do this myself with the shape of the field, but not because of the fact that it skips what it does, but it's obviously because it's overhanging. It's a strange one. I'm not sure, honestly, if there's a way to set it up. I'm not sure at all. In fact, if anyone does know, I'd love to get some advice on this, some tips. In fact, I got some really good tips in the last episode from me just completely being, not very clever. Let's just say that. And it was to do with getting narrow tyres on this tractor for the sprayer. I was thinking, oh, there is no narrow tyres, but it's because I've not got the Trelleborgs or another kind of tyre. Because I'm using Continentals, you can't get narrows with them. So I was just thinking, oh no, can't get narrows, and so on. Let's just kind of move on, turn crop destruction off. We're following tram lines anyway. But you can do it. It's just, completely oblivious to it. And it's something that I've been told before, but I've just, for some reason, I can't retain that information. But I will now. I'll make sure of it, definitely. But yeah, so at least I know that. But that just goes to show how important getting comments from everybody that watches the video. You know, we can all help each other, and I really do appreciate it when you do that. So yeah, if you do know of a way to set Courseplay up with like a side-on mower like that, let me know. Is there something that I'm missing in the settings? Because I'd love to get some help and advice on that. But I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to do this in between this episode of the next. Finish this off, get it rowed and baled, and then I'll try and work out what to do next with the wrapper. I am trying to figure out whether to skip through, because in the next episode, if I do this, the only thing I can technically do would be some wrapping. And yeah, I feel like we can progress time a bit forward, maybe even two, because we're not going to need to do any more like feed after this. And I know we've only partially done in this episode some mowing, and we actually got Courseplay to do, but I can easily do this. It won't take long at all. Get it baled and even purchase maybe a wrapper or lease one out at least, and get them in storage ready for, moving forward. It could be a good option to do. I've got to bring in the bales as well. I could leave them out in the field and then do some like winter crop again, because I've got to think of this long term now. If we go forward into, like, let's say the next big point for me would be to either do some field work in preparation for the next harvest, or we can jump forward to like December time and sell everything, including the cows, and bring in some more, which would be a good jump forward, especially from July. But I do think there's probably some things we could be doing. I mean, looking at the crop here, we can see that we can actually plant in September some barley. We could do some of that. We could even go for a bit of the canola or rapeseed oil or OSR. We could do some oilseed. Just trying to think. It's nice to get straw, and I know I can get straw from canola, because you can. There's a few mods that allow you to do that, and I've got that on, so I could do some straw from that. I do think we'll keep with the kind of traditional British crops to do for arable work, which is like barley, wheat, canola, oats. I do think we'll do that before moving on to something like a different style of crop. But yeah, planting in around September time and doing winter crop would be good, and we could move back to wheat. Oats is always good money, it really is, but we've just done oats, so I think we move over to maybe canola and just try do something a little bit different. So yeah, I think we go with OSR and do some of that. We could even split it. We could have one field where we're not planting in that. We can go with barley or something, but we definitely need to prep the fields ready. So really all I need to do there, because we've got a direct seeder, is to mulch. So I need to do some mulching in some fields. So in the next episode we'll get the wrapper, finish off the baling. I'll get this all baled and rowed then baled, and then we can do the wrapping, get that sorted out, and we can do some mulching. Yeah, so I'll get the straw brought in, put into storage for when we actually do go and sell that. I also need to adjust the price of straw as well. So let me just turn that off. And yeah, we got quite a lot of bales. We've got loads of them. In fact, you can see from the map because I've got it showing. So all the dots. Let's just go to this one. You can see it a bit better. You can see how many we've got scattered. I actually missed a bit in this field as well. I don't know how I missed that bit to harvest there. But I'm going to have to come back and do that because it's going to bug me. I can't, even though it's the tiniest strip, I haven't got a clue how I've gone past this and missed it and just carried on. I must have finished somewhere out of sight from this and then just forgot about it. But yeah, we need to harvest this, don't we? Even if it's just the smallest amount added on to our yield in the end. But bringing in the bales is going to be fun. I'm going to have to use auto load. There's just too many. I'd love to manual stack again into sheds and stuff, but it's just when there's this many and they perform the way they do, which is they're just insane, aren't they? At the moment, it's something Giants probably need to look at when it comes to FS25, not just wait till like the next generation of game, because we could stack these up and put a load of time and effort in, which would take that just to even manually load them onto the trail and drive them back and then unload and put them into a nice neat pile. Even if we put them to the edge of the field in a nice neat pile, it would still move around and they'd just go everywhere. The auto storage that we've got is the only way to do it without it having that issue. So yeah, I'm going to have to bring them in. What I could do at some point, and this might be a really nice idea, which I haven't done in 25 yet, is getting one of these stackers. So I think that's a round bale one. Yeah, that's a round bale one. That's a square that can hold 14. But there's another one here that holds 14. And then this one holds 14 too. So there's 3 options here where we could stack and do it technically, realistically still, but we're using, a nice piece of kit to do it. I mean, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? The Stack Pro, Anderson Stack Pro. I mean, 14 bales isn't many when you think about, the amount we can do. I mean, that's 24, but that's round, so that would be the best one to do. But yeah, if we did it like this with 14 bales, £90,000, it's a lot of money, but it'd be pretty useful to have this option. I mean, it'd be nice if they could go up to like 20 bales. It is what it is. But no, I don't mind like getting this, for example, and doing it that way and then bringing it into our auto storage. At least we're doing something a little bit better than just using an auto load trailer. There's a bit more work involved, and because it's all going to get stored anyway in an auto storage point, it kind of feels like the best option. So I'll add that to the shopping list as well. I feel like I've got a lot of stuff on the shopping list at the moment. But we definitely need a truck. We definitely need that. We need a wrapper now. And I'd like to get an auto load trailer that's like that. It's like a semi-auto load trailer, but a realistic trailer that actually is a thing you can buy in real life. But you still have to drive up, wait for it to stack, and so on. And then we're going to use the auto load section to it whilst using the storage point. I think that's the way to go. Definitely. But yeah, I'll move into the next episode. We will get the wrapping done, get some mulching done, get these fields prepped. We'll also take a look and decide on what field we're going to buy. And we can't do that, though, till December. So anything we do... In fact, that makes me think, like, if we can't buy that until December, we could still do barley in it, for example, and canola, but we'd have to plant it in spring. So that would be a spring... Yeah, so that'd be like a spring crop. It doesn't really matter too much, even if we did barley in the winter and canola. But I think we should aim for canola is our main crop. And even if we have to, we can plant that in March time. We'll still get a harvest around July, August anyway. So it's not too bad. But yeah, we'll figure out which one to go for, basically. I'm ideally going to try and go for something close to what we've already got. I don't want it to be massive. Like this field might be the nice natural step field, this farmland 8 there. So yeah, it's not too bad, is it? So I bet it's going to be a lot of money though. So that field is 416,000. Oh, he's put the prices up. He really has. 500 for them. I mean, we can't go to this size because this just gets crazy money. I do think the field prices are probably realistic, but they are very, very steep. Definitely steep. So, yeah, that's what we're ideally going to try and get, though. £416,000 field 8. I think that has to be the one. But we'll decide it properly in the next episode and come up with a bit of a plan. But plenty still to do. And I'll get the straw sorted out as well and bring that price down because it's a little bit steep. And in fact, I'll prove it now. Well, let's have a look at what we potentially will get if we sell the straw. Look, 131,000 is close to that. Whereas if we got 90,000, for example, at 100, just a nice, gives you a nice example of what I'm going to bring it down to. I think that's still very good money, but not the double that you get for the harvest. So, yeah, I think about 100 is probably the perfect point to put straw at when it's the best time to sell. But on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up for me because that really does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator. See you, everybody.